Alright, what's up? This is alertwolf here. I'm gonna bring you a different type of video. Now, I did say, again, I wasn't gonna do, I would do discussion videos on the big three. So that's what this is. This is my, my One Piece, Naruto, and Bleach discussion video, and this one's called The Next Level. And, alright, let me just get right into it. These are my predictions of where I feel the characters are going to get their next big power-up and how it's going to look. Now, depending on the anime, some are easier than others to predict. And I think the hardest one to predict is going to be One Piece. So let me just dive right into One Piece. Now, the problem with One Piece is basically with Luffy's power, and this is just on the main characters, so this will be on Luffy, Naruto, and Ichgo. This is not going to be on any of the additional characters. So let's look at Luffy. Now, Luffy, alright, is a rubber man whose power-ups includes Gear Second, which pumps up his blood, giving him, making him faster, and so giving him super speed and increased strength. Okay, then there's Gear Third, which actually lets his appendages get big. And before the time skip, it will turn him into Chibi Luffy after he was done with it as the drawback. Okay, then post time skip and the addition of Haki, we have Armament Haki, which who could see that one coming, right? So again, let's look at this right. There's no way you could have predicted some sort of, I mean, even if you could think that maybe he would get bigger, you couldn't predict how exactly the Gear Third would work. And with the Haki, you know, pre-time skip, you got that he could knock people out with the ability, and he had the ability. But post-time skip, there's no way for you to guess that he would get Armament Haki. That would turn his arms into basically metal, so he's rubbery metal when he punches you. Almost impossible to predict. And then you have his red hook or hawk or whatever, where he adds fire, which I guess is some sort of Haki. They never fully explain it, but that's what I assume. And so you're going to say, well, here's the thing. The next Gear 4 Thor, the next big upswing in Luffy's power is going to be unpredictable. Because with One Piece, you can just make shit. Obviously, this is all being fiction. You could just make it up. So it's impossible to tell which way they're going to go with that. Now, having said that, I'm going to give you my best guess scenarios. Now, obviously, we're going to see some sort of combination. After all, we saw Gear Third with the Armaments Haki recently, which was nasty. So, that's pretty powerful. I think we're going to see a combination of Armaments and his Red Hook, or Red Hawk, or whatever, with the Flame. So a combination of his Armaments and Flame is definitely going to happen, and mixed with Gear Second or Third. Now, what a Gear Fourth is going to look like, or the next step is, I think, you know, they've been toying around with the idea of Luffy as a giant for a while now. Now, if you watched the last filler, that was, you know, with the chick inside of him, he was able to go giant. And when he was a giant, he was ridiculously powerful. So you may see that. I mean, Gear Third plays with that idea, and so did in the whatchamacallit arc where Luffy's soul was placed inside of that giant demon. So, and you saw how powerful he was. So, I think it's more than likely that Luffy, in some time in the future, is going to gain the ability to turn full giant and then use his powers from there. I think that's going to happen. How that's going to look, how he's going to cause it, I don't know. And to be able to use his powers from giant mode, I think that's going to happen at some point. So that's a reasonable assumption. They keep toying with that idea. I think it's gonna happen. Now, again, I think the combination of his current powers in new ways is always happening. It's happening all the time, and I believe that's the direction they're going. Now, that being said, unless he gets some sort of next level shit right here, such as maybe full body hockey or armaments hockey, or some sort of full body flame attack, maybe even a second devil fruit. Who knows? Because we know with people with the D, it is possible to have a second devil fruit. So that would be cool. I mean, so that again, who knows where they're gonna go with this? He may get, he may gain a second devil fruit ability. He may, any of the things I discussed. But with One Piece, what I love is, Dragon Ball Z Super Saiyan 1 to Super Saiyan 2 predictable, 3 predictable. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't a vast difference. They just got stronger. But with Luffy, whenever Luffy gets stronger, he gets more diverse. Which is saying something considering his main powers to stretch. So I do like that. Alright, let's move on. Naruto. Okay. You have the Nine-Tail Chakra mode and then the QB mode. Or the Bijou mode or whatever. And what I think is the next stage in Naruto's development is combining Sage mode with that. And we've already seen signs of this with the manga, because I believe the Nine-Tails was out of chakra and he was meditating using some sort of Sage mode to absorb chakra. And in the beginning, if you recall, it was the Nine-Tails that when Naruto first learned Sage mode, that was blocking Sage mode's full use. Now, I think by fully integrating those two things, Naruto will reach the next level. And we may see this very soon. Because what's going to happen is, he's going to be able to he's going to be able to do both. Absorb the chakra from around him, as well as use the Nine-Tail Chakra. So that's where I think things are going with that. Now, he has a wide assortment of attacks, and I'm sure some newer version. You know what? And if we want to go beyond that, I think there's a lot of Sage of the Six Paths stuff that he's going to be capable of doing, that the original Sage of the Six Path could do, such as the gates. Because we saw him use it in his mind before, and I have a feeling one day he's going to be able to use it for real. Maybe that's how he stops the Ten Tails. Because after all, and let me go further, I'm going to say the original Sage of Six Paths was the Jinchuriki for the Ten Tails. The original, I think that's how he conquered the Ten Tails, by sealing him in himself, and then later doing what Naruto did. Honestly, I think that's what happened. Because Madara right now is being prepared to be the Jinchuriki for the Ten Tails. So that means it's possible. Now, do I believe Naruto's going to get a Rinnegan? No. I don't think he's going to get the eye thing. That's Sasuke's bag of tricks. I don't think that's going to happen. But that is the direction I see Naruto going. I see him combining Sage mode with Jubi mode, or Bijou mode, or whatever. And then from there, learning how to do stuff of the Sage of the Six Paths. I think the combination of the two will open that up for him. But that is my understanding of where it's going to go. Obviously, the Ten Tails itself in the manga is going to go through another more perfect evolution. It's like Cell; it just keeps evolving and getting stronger. So I feel Naruto's going to have to get bumped along with it, which is interesting because who knows what they're going to do to Sasuke to make him strong enough to even fight Naruto. So now let me just jump into Bleach, because I think Naruto was probably the easiest for me to get to. Bleach is complicated a little bit with Ichigo, and not so much. Obviously, I don't think he's going to learn a new attack at this point. It's just going to be some variation. I guess it goes to Tensho. That's pretty much where it's going. But right now in the manga, he is learning how to, mess with the sword. I believe him and Reggie are fighting his sword. Their own sword spirits just devolved, so they could be reforged again. So that's what I think this is. And let me just address this. Now, Ichigo, for every major arc, has developed the powers of that particular enemy he's fought. Obviously, he developed Soul Reaper powers, then he developed the Mask or Visor power, he was ascended, then he had the Fullbring power, and we saw him have signs of having the Quincy power. And the way it's being tied together, it seems like it kind of makes sense, though, that he had it the whole time. Now, I'm not going to say this. As far as prediction of what Ichigo's Quincy powers are going to look like, they're going to be a takeoff of Yuha Box. Whatever Yuha Box power is, or similar to that, it's going to be an imitation of that, I'm going to say, to a certain extent. Now, as far as his Soul Reaper's powers are concerned, and I think this is going to be true, what's going to let the captains, and I'm going to go general here, what's going to let the captains not be taken so easily with the Bankais is we're going to see, similar to what happened when Ichigo was ascended, a more full merger with their Bankai. Meaning, I think that's what the training is going to lead to. So the Bankai is going to be fully integrated with Ichigo. Not meaning like he's going to grow swords out of his arms, although he may, but that's not what I'm saying. What I mean is, his connection to his Bankai is going to be complete. So what he's able to do, because it's going to become an extension of himself. So stealing it would be the equivalent of cutting off his arm. So you couldn't really steal a Bankai. And I think that's going to make the Bankais more powerful and more pure. So on his Soul Reaper side, I see a complete merger with their Bankais, allowing a new level of power to emerge. Now, let me just get into a little bit on this current arc. Now, I think the premise behind the Quincy war with the Soul Reapers, that the Quincy killing Hollows disrupt the balance of souls between the realms and blah blah blah, I think that's not true. I think that's a bunch of bullshit started by the Soul King. I think it's not completely true. I don't think it messes balance, but I think it may threaten the Soul Reapers, the Hollow's power, because maybe what happens when you kill a Hollow is his power gets fed to the Soul King. I don't know, but I'm just taking a guess. That just came to me right now. That's just out of nowhere. But maybe there's something along that lines, and when the Quincy killed the Hollow, the Soul King doesn't get that energy. And I think it's a lie. I think the Quincy were wiped out by the Soul King's forces, the Soul Reapers. And you have to realize the Soul Reapers started off as a brutal, vicious hit squad that didn't mind a little genocide in the morning. And we're starting to get more and more out of that. Now, and when Aizen referred to the Soul King, he referred to it as an it rather than a person. And how could you serve it once you knew what it really was? So, and the Soul King is very interested in Ichigo. So, there's something not right there. We all know that the Soul King is probably going to be the last villain Ichigo fights. I think when it comes out what the Soul King really is, and what he truly does, and what he represents, I think that's going to be it. And I think at that point, the end game of the series is going to be Ichigo utilizing, and by the way, he's not going to learn a new technique. It's still going to be Gesugo Tensho of some form, but it's going to be him utilizing all the powers he has together in one form. So that means hollow powers, that means ascended powers, that means let's see, Quincy powers and full brain powers. So I think Ichigo's final form, so to speak, is going to be the combination of all of these abilities at once. And that is going to be when he's on par with the Soul King, and when he's going to end up fighting him. Now, I'm not going to go as far as to say Ichigo becomes the next Soul King, and that's how they end Bleach. But the Soul King obviously performs a function, and I think that function is he's the one who separated the worlds to begin with. But I think that's going to be Ichigo's final form. That's going to be how he achieves his Soul Kingness form. And I think that's why the Soul King is very interested in Ichigo, because Ichigo is developing similar to the Soul King, I believe, manifesting the different powers. So that is my prediction on the big three and their next levels or next forms or their next power-ups. Now again, all of these are just my opinions on how I see things going. I could be proven right on some of these guesses. I could be proven wrong. Like I said, it's impossible to tell because these people can write whatever the hell they want. It's fiction. So, there you go. And they don't have to base their thing in any sort of reality. Excuse me, any sort of natural reality. All they have to do is write it. I mean, hell. And we may not even be happy with the next forms or the final forms our heroes take, such as Super Saiyan 4. But, you know, but, again, just my predictions. So let me know what you think, you know. I'd love to get your thoughts on this. So I think you've heard enough of me. This video's gone on too long. So click it up if you like it. Comment if you must. And so please, please, please subscribe if you can. And this is your boy, alertwolf, signing off.